Okay. Good evening, all of you. Today, I'm going to discuss the most important topic of MEd. This is paper one, semester one topic, philosophy of education. Right? So, under this topic, this is your syllabus. Okay. This topic we will discuss about the philosophy. We will discuss about the education and how the philosophy and educations are related with each other. Okay. Today in this topic, we will discuss this thing. So I start with the philosophy. So guys, philosophy, basically it is derived from the two words. One is philos and second is sophia. Okay. The meaning of philos is love and sophia means wisdom. So philosophy का क्या meaning हुआ? What is the meaning of philosophy? Love of wisdom. Whosoever the person having the love of a wisdom is called the philosopher. You know, there is a one definition said by the renowned philosopher Plato. Plato has said that if anyone is searching for the knowledge and he has tasted all sort of the knowledge and curious to learn more and is never satisfied is termed as philosopher. Okay. The meaning of philosophy is love of wisdom. Wisdom is more than the knowledge, right? Wisdom includes knowledge, wisdom includes experiences, okay, what you have got. And you know, there is a one more definitions of Bertrand Russell. Bertrand Russell has said that philosophy, like all other studies, aims primarily at knowledge, right? Next, we discuss about the scope or branches of philosophy. This is the most important you have to remember. You know, basically, it is categorized into the three branches. The branches of philosophy. One is called metaphysics, one is called epistemology, and third is called axiology. Okay, there are some more, but you know, all other branches that comes under, you know, these branches. So you always remember there are three branches of philosophy: metaphysics, epistemology, or axiology, right? The meaning of a metaphysics in a simple sense is called theory of reality. Means the topic, the meaning, the word metaphysics talk about the reality. Because now when you break the metaphysics, meta plus physics, right? The meaning of physics is universe, external things. Okay, meta means beyond. Matlab the thing is talking about beyond this universe, right? The thing which is talking about beyond the universe is called metaphysics. Okay, metaphysics means in a simple sense theory of reality. So the metaphysics, which is a first branch of the philosophy, talks about reality. Okay, and what are the metaphysical questions? Metaphysical questions are: what is reality? Okay, what is God? Okay, are human actions free? Does God exist or not? Can we prove the God? What is time? What is the meaning of life? Right? Hello, whatever, you know, internal things, God, reality, timing, these all topics, these all things comes under the topic of metaphysics. You will come to know about the, you know, there is a one more universe which is existing beyond this physical world. Okay, this is called the noumena world. It was said by the Kant. Kant kaun tha? Who was the Kant? Kant was a idealistic. He said that there are two type of a world. One is a phenomena world and one is a noumena world, right? Noumena world is a, you know, andruni world hota hai, internal world hota hai. To know about the noumena world, you have to study the metaphysics, okay, which is the first branch of the philosophy. Second, we talk about the epistemology. Okay, and in a simple sense, the meaning of epistemology is a theory of knowledge. Okay, what is knowledge? How we get the knowledge? What is truth? How can we know that? What are the sources of knowledge? Okay, there are only one source of a knowledge, or what are the sources of a knowledge, right? Because now you have seen that there is a, you know, one scientist who gave his whole of the life to know the galaxy. Okay, when he found out the galaxy, then he came to know that there are a lot of galaxies in the universe. Okay, so what is the ultimate knowledge? Okay, ultimate knowledge exists or not? So this thing you will get under the epistemology, right? And third is the axiology. Axiology talks about the theory of values. It talks about the truth, beauty and goodness, जिसको हिंदी में कहते हैं सत्यम शिवम सुंदरम, truth, beauty, goodness. It talks about higher level of values, right? Whether when the baby born, he borns with the values or not, he borns with the truth or not. Okay, in the beard, you have studied about the philosophy of naturalism philosophy, right? Who was the father of the naturalism? Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Jean-Jacques Rousseau has said that when baby comes from the hand of the god, it is a society which corrupts the baby, right? Because when the baby born, he never knows what is truth and what is wrong, what is true and what is wrong. This is the society. By the interaction with the society, he comes to know about the different kind of things. Okay, so whatever the values, higher level of values, truth, beauty, goodness, these all are done. These all are studied under the branch of axiology, which is a third branch of the philosophy, right, guys? Next, we talk about the education, right? What is education? Education, you know that it is as long as the human race. Education is never-ending process of one's inner growth and development, and its period can be stretched from cradle to grave, right, guys? Education, one philosopher has said that education starts from the cradle and ends in the grave, as you are looking in the slide. Okay, John Dewey, one is educationist, he has written a one book, Education and Experience. Under this book, Education and Experience, John Dewey has said that all the life is a education and all the education is a experience, or whatever from birth to death, whatever the experience we get, this is a education. Okay, so when the baby borns, although he is not talking, but he is observing in his conscious subconscious mind, right? So this is all about the education. So therefore, one philosopher has said that, one educationist has said that it starts from the womb of the mother and goes up to the grave, or in a simple sense, birth to death, right? And guys, it is education which makes a man civilized, cultured, behaviored. Okay, he deals properly with the other persons with the help of a education. In fact, whole the life is the education, right? Although there are three words, this is the most important word which we have to understand from where the word education has derived, right? Like we have studied, we have just discussed philosophy is derived from the two words, philos and sophia. Similarly, from where education word has derived. So education word is derived from the Latin word educare, educier, and educatum. Being of the teacher, being of the principal, you should know that. What is the meaning of education actually? So first word of educator, he says that, this word says that to bring up, the meaning of educator, to nourish up, to raise up, right? Like the mother nourishes her child. Similarly, being of a teacher, you have to nourish your student, right? From that way, you have to give coaching to the student. You have to teach to the student, right? Second word says about the educier. Educier means to lead out, to draw out. Okay, education does not mean pouring into the mind of the student, right, guys? Teaching does not mean pouring into the mind of the student. Teaching does not mean to give knowledge to the student. Teaching does not mean to make one, a knowledgeable person, right? The real meaning of teaching, the real meaning of education is to lead out of the best. Means being of a teacher, being of a principal, your duty is to arousing the learning power of the student. This is called meaning of education, and this word educier word says. stimulating the learning power of the student. Okay. And the third word is educatum. It means act of teaching and learning. Right, guys? So now we have discussed, till now, we have discussed about philosophy. Okay, from where the philosophy has derived from the two word philos and sophia. Then we have discussed about branches of philosophy. There are three branches of philosophy. One is metaphysics, matlab theory of reality. Second is epistemology, means theory of knowledge. And third is axiology, means theory of values. After that, we discussed about education and the word from where the education has derived. Right, guys? So till you have understood a little bit, you have understood about the philosophy and education. Now, in this topic, relationship between education and philosophy. Now, we discuss what is the relationship between education and philosophy. What are the similarities, within these two terms? So then, one educationist, Ross has said that one beautiful definition to explain the relationship of education and philosophy. Ross has said that education and philosophy are the two sides of the same coin. One is implemented by the other. Okay, matlab, whatever we get the knowledge, this is called a philosophy, and that philosophy, when we apply into the field of education, right, then we get the knowledge. So this cycle goes, right? ऐसे ही ये cycle चलता रहता है, right? From the philosophy we get education, from the education we get the philosophy. Okay, there is a one question exists here. I will ask you after that slide whether philosophy is a theoretical concept or practical concept, or education is a theoretical concept or a practical concept. Okay, आपसे I will ask from you after the slide, after finishing the lecture. Okay, you have to note that. Okay, whether education is a practical subject or practical, or philosophy is a practical subject or theoretical subject, right? आगे देखिए क्या होता है, what happens. Education and philosophy are closely interrelated, right? If philosophy is a love of knowledge, then education is a acquisition of a knowledge. Education is a practical activity of a philosophical thought. Without philosophy, education would be the blind effort, and without education, philosophy would be crippled. खत्म ही हो जाएगी उसके, ठीक है ना? मतलब there would be end of a philosophy without the education. Because always remember, education is a that kind of a train which leads to the philosophical thoughts. Okay, right? So philosophy is a theory. I have already written philosophy is a theory. Education is a practice. Okay, education is the applied philosophy. Right, guys? I think the relationship of between philosophy and education is clear to you. Okay, next we discuss the most important topic, philosophy of education. अभी तक हमने, now we discussed about philosophy, we discussed education, and third topic we discussed relationship between education and philosophy, and fourth topic, subtopic, we discuss what is philosophy of education. It is most important, right? Philosophy of education. क्या होता है philosophy of education, right? In the simple sense, philosophy of education, basically, it is the study of education in philosophical manner. When we study the education in a philosophical manner, it is called philosophy of education, right? We analyze the education in terms of philosophy like other studies, right? Or different philosophies kya hai? What are the different philosophies? Some philosophy are the idealistic philosophy, some are pragmatistic philosophy, some are naturalistic, some are realistic, existentialistic. There are lot of philosophy, there are a lot of school of thoughts. Okay, when we study these school of thought in philosophical manners, this is called philosophy of education. Okay, in a simple manner, I explain you, I tell you, one example. From the example, you will come to know about what is philosophy of education. All right. Actually, what happened, there was a one supervisor, okay, or inspector, education inspector, educational supervisor. He has to check the 10 or 10 schools. Okay, what he has to check? He has to check the result of the school. Okay, result of the school is good, okay, or not. Okay, he has to check the infrastructure of the school. He has to check the all the facilities, all things happens in the educational institutions. He has to check. Okay, so what happened when that supervisor or educational inspector, when he inspected 10 schools, he came to know that out of a 10 schools, 2 schools, okay, the result of a 2 school is 100%, right? The students of the 2 schools, they speak in English. Each and every child speaks in English. Okay, the level of students are very good. Okay, the 2 schools, those 2 schools, all the students are computer savvy. All the students are technological savvy, right? As compared to other schools. So what he has observed, that with the help of a computer technology and with the help of a good teacher, we can raise the level of the student. Okay, so what happened? He has given submitted his report to the UGC. So UGC has implemented, right? The teacher should have the beard, the principal should have the MEd, and every school should have the computer access. So what happens? Many of the schools, you have seen that they have, you know, uh, they are leading, right? Ab kya hua? What happened? To introduce the computer, okay, this philosophy comes in the mind while inspecting the school, right? So guys, when we draw out any of the philosophy from the educational institution, it is called philosophy of education, right? This philosophy now, inspector, educational supervisor has come out with this philosophy. There should be a trained staff over there in schools, and there should be a facility of computer. This philosophy he has drawn out educational institution. So similarly, when we draw out any of the philosophy from the educational institution, it is called philosophy of education, right? Which I have written. It is drawn out from any educational practices institution. It is called philosophy of education, right, guys? So what are the different kind of philosophy? Different kind of philosophy of education, not philosophy of education. कौन सी हैं? Idealism है, pragmatism है, naturalism है, existentialism है, और Marxism है. These are called Western school of philosophy. Okay, which we will study in the coming chapters, one after the other. What is the idealism philosophy, pragmatism, and naturalism philosophy, right, guys? So I show you in your syllabus also. This is a first slide of your syllabus, right? Look at the section A. Okay, philosophy of education. Today we discussed concept and nature and scope, little bit, and functions. Okay, second is education and metaphysics. Third is epistemology and education, and fourth is axiology and education. Okay, before going to the next chapter, I thought that you should know about the what is a metaphysics, what is a epistemology and axiology. That's why in this lecture, in today's lecture, I explain you the concept of philosophy. These three terms are familiar with the philosophy. These are called the branches of the philosophy, right? And look at the section B. In the section B, Western school of philosophy: idealism, naturalism, pragmatism, existentialism, or Marxism, right? We will do one after the other. Okay, so these are philosophy of education. This is a Western school of a philosophy, right? In a idealism, we will come to know what is metaphysics of idealism, what is epistemology of idealism, what is axiology of idealism. Similarly, these all 4 or 5 philosophy of education we will discuss. But in today's lecture, we talked about the what is philosophy, from which word it is derived, and education क्या चीज है, what is education, and what is the relationship between philosophy and education, and another topic is philosophy of education. Right, guys? I hope this lecture has clear to you. Thank you so much, guys. Right, guys. Okay. So, sisters and fathers, all of you. So, do you have any problem? Do you have any problem of this lecture? It was, little bit, today was the first class. So then I thought that, right, slowly and gradually I will move that. Okay. So, it is clear to you, your, first paper, first topic in a very, little sense. So now you can put your audio on, all of you. You can talk with me, right? I have stopped the recording. Now the recording I have stopped.
Okay.
Yes.
Recording is still going on.
Because after that, na, Samuel will explain you how to create username and password. Okay, Samuel, 5 minute interaction kar le, huh?
Yeah, so the recording is still on.
Recording is, I have, okay.